You're introduced to the audience, but I think it will be good if you can say a few words about yourself, introduce yourself. Maybe we start with Mr. Israr. Should work.
Yeah. Very good morning. So I'm representing Smart Axiata, a company operating in Cambodia. And we are part of Axiata Group, which is a Malaysian company operating in 10 different countries around the world in Asia. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Magnus Frodigh. I'm heading up Ericsson Research. And we are now, of course, moving forward in our work on technology leadership. And we have standardization on 6G around the corner. So we are gearing up for that, of course.
Hi, my name is Mikael Rylander. I am Nokia's Chief Technology Leadership Officer. And I cover a lot of networks and a lot of applications in Nokia. So I know a little bit about everything.
Hello, my name is Yong Lee, and I'm in charge of mobile agent service in LG Plus. We just launched last year the first core AI agent, XEO, last year, so it's very nice to meet you.
All right, thank you very much. It's a true pleasure to have you here and a good range of insights that we will benefit from. I think at the beginning it may be good to share, perhaps starting with the service providers and LGU Plus and Smart. What does AI mean to you? What's the value, and what are you doing in that context actively now or into the future? I know that LGU Plus has a couple of slides, so if you don't mind starting first. So we show Mr. Young's slides. You can flip, I think.
Last year, we launched AI core agent service named XEO. So based on customer research, we decided to make AI-based core service. Because we are telco, so we really want to focus on customers' core experience because we can do that job better than anyone else in the world. So that's why we want to focus on core experience of our customer. So while meeting more than 2,000 customers, we discovered that customers have different problem and pain point at each stage of the core. I mean, before the call, during the call, after the call. So based on this, we decided to make, as you can see here, following feature of each stage of the call, especially in Korea, maybe in the whole world. Gen Z often feel anxious about phone call, but they also want to know why somebody is calling to me. So we want to we want to solve this kind of dilemma of our customer. So I will explain some main feature of our services. So the first one is AI transcript. So customer not only want to listen but also read the call like messenger service. So because not to miss out on important information, or if they are in large place like here, they can see their conversation in real time. So we are using on-device STT technology to make this kind of services. And next one is AI call protection. So this AI XEO analyzes scam pattern during a call using on-device STT without uploading any call content to server or ensuring privacy. So I think it's the world's first solution to identify scam call on the device. And AI answering could be used when our user doesn't want to get their call directly. So as you can see on this video, It shows that AI response on behalf of user. And last one is AI summary. AI summary is generated after the call and comprise the title, key takeaways, suggestion, etc. It's another handy feature that everyone must like until now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the same note, Mr. Israr, what does AI mean to you? What's the value? What are you doing in that space?
I think it's a very good question. And before answering this, I would like to bring everyone into the attention that when we start talking about 5G 4 to 5 years ago, and there were a lot of promises that we talked about 5G, and we said it's going to solve a lot of problems. But in reality, what happened is that the current deployment, especially in Asia or the countries that we are representing here, it's just an extension of more data usage on mobile broadband. So fundamentally, what we are seeing, the current 5G era is that you're seeing more deployments, you see more CapEx that is coming into place, and all we are doing is increasing demands of the users, and we are trying to fulfill that. So fundamentally, when we looked at AI, so we try to answer that question in a way that how can we bring some sort of efficiencies into the whole process and to see that where exactly AI can help. So fundamentally, at this point of time now, these two things have to coexist. And what we are seeing, for example, starting from operational efficiencies, because 5G radios, when you're coexisting with 4G, you're putting a lot of CapEx, you're putting a lot of OpEx, and the traffic is naturally growing. It's not really the way we anticipated 4 to 5 years ago. So what we are actually using at this point of time now is that we are developing a couple of models which are in the prototype at this point of time now. So it works on the basis of the real-time usage patterns onto the network. And then what we are trying to do is we are trying to use the real-time algorithms to control the power. That's the main thing, because in different parts of Asia, power consumes is around 15 to 20% of your total OpEx that you're doing. So that's the main point that we started first. The second thing that we are using AI is to bring a lot of efficiencies, because in our part of the world, not like developed countries, we have issues of fiber cuts, we have truck rolling happening every day, and there are also a lot of issues depending on the people who are in the field to go and find out that what exactly are the challenges and what are the parts and things that they need to do that. So with the help of AI, what we are now trying to do is that we are learning the pattern of whatever the faults were occurred in the network, and we are preparing those to our field engineers, and accordingly we are distributing those spares as well as the people to get more knowledge around what exactly they need to do, rather than predicting or thinking about that what could happen. So I think this is also a key that in most of our markets we see people looking for skilled resources, and as we are extending our networks into more rural areas, we are finding it extremely difficult to get good skilled human technicians to do those jobs. So I think all we are trying to do is that we are trying to bring a lot of knowledge in the context of a normal human being, and then trying to prepare them to address those concerns, which will eventually address the MTTR, which will address the OpEx, and which will address the efficiency that we want to bring into operations. So I think we are not really gone there to start looking into the customer side of the story. We are trying to solve the increasing cost, and we are trying to control over using AI in different parts of it. Thank you.
Very kind. Thank you. Very good. So maybe this is a good time to ask our expert OEMs and suppliers, Ericsson and Nokia, on inspired by some of these examples, if you don't mind talking about where the technology is going, what are the use cases in a few minutes. Well, how do you see the trends in the context of also monetization, value, and use cases, opportunities?
Yeah, thanks. I think we are in extremely exciting times, and we are in this paradigm shift, and we are sort of starting to use the AI agents, the AI assistants in our daily lives. And I think we are just in the beginning of understanding the impact this will have and how much it will actually change our lives, and how much more efficiency and new services that will be created given this technology breakthrough. And if you then think about AI being the new interface, so to say, I think it's also very natural to think about augmented reality, and you complement this with the glasses. I think the augmented reality glasses together with AI will be even more powerful. So I think we are just in the beginning of that. And when you think about that, I think you will then start to use it in broader and broader, and you will have this massive twinning, and we will all be sort of moving in this cyber-physical continuum, being in the physical world, but getting all the benefits of extra digital representations of things around us, etc. And when you can do that, of course, it's not only we humans, then you can generalize this to all different sectors in society and bring efficiency and new innovation on top of that much, much broader platform. So I think we will see the networks becoming more of a platform. They will continue, they will sort of include some level of compute, of course. They will have working with the robustness and resilience and the privacy aspects. So the importance of the network will increase. And then in order to open up for this innovation, it's important with the exposure of information out of the networks and having sort of the innovation on top of these APIs. So it's exciting times. We are in the beginning of something here. That's my feeling.
Thank you. And Mr. Rylander, on the same note, and perhaps you can also elaborate on the role of network as well as the data. Thank you.
Yeah, so I will build a picture now, both on value creation and network. And what do I mean? I'm talking about the platform where future value creation will happen. And if we then think a little about how the digitalization started back in the 70s with mainframes, maybe some of you were around, then the PC came. So all the businesses in the world moved over to PCs, and you still have a little bit of mainframe. Then internet came, then cloud technology, and then AI. So pretty soon, at the end of this decade, we will start to see a new platform of value creation emerging. And that will be by fusion of cloud technology and communication technology. So that means that if you would like to build that kind of infrastructure in the future, you need to master everything in the network: optics, IP, RAN, but also cloud technology. It could be done by partnering, that could be done by many ways. But that's what we're moving towards fast. We call that in Nokia the network cloud continuum. And the network cloud continuum contains of three parts. One is that you need to have data and compute capability at the edge. We can see that is not that far away. We have that today. Secondly, we also need to have multi-cloud capabilities. So we need to erase the boundaries between the various big cloud, edge cloud, and on-prem cloud. You need to be able to move compute or payloads from these clouds seamlessly, efficiently, and fast to cater all the great things that will happen next. In the middle, you have the network and cloud fusion. And that is the most immature area, but we are investing in research there. What could that contain? Well, if you think about packaging the network, maybe we need to tag them with how much compute they need. So we fast can make decision where to use compute at the edge, on the device that Qualcomm talk about, or in the central cloud. So that's what's going on. Right now, I can give you a couple of examples where we are with products and solutions in the field. If we take a fairly large network and picture this is a multi-vendor network, to be a little bit more more complicated. If we then look at this radio network and look at automated neighboring cell relationships, making it robust from a mobility perspective, and avoid cell outages. Then when we apply AI to all of this, we can see some things. The time to prevent an outage and fix and repair goes down with 87%. Time to implement an action in the network goes 22 times faster. And that is the beginning.
Great.
This is what we get now in a multi-vendor network with AI.
Thank you. Thank you. Great insight. There was a reference to the device AI, and there's also Qualcomm mentioned and others in the sense of more and more AI on device. There's also an expectation of collaboration, distributed intelligence, because device alone dynamically may need help. LGU Plus, on that note, do you have any insight in terms of either the data or the device AI and collaboration of the network to share?
Well, next thing we want to do with AI is AI search. So, because I don't believe that every customer should learn how to prompt to AI. But everybody is talking about ChatGPT, OpenAI, Claude, something like that. But I think only few customers can use AI well. So we have data of customers' context of their phone call. So if we can connect our phone call contacts to AI directly, I think we can create more value to our customers. So thankfully, we could launch last week after call search with Google Gemini. So if somebody ended their call, the context of their call is directly connected to Google Gemini. So it can show the search result of what they want. For example, if customer talking about the place to go or where to want to go or a good restaurant, something like that, Gemini will search that kind of information directly and show us on Ixio app. So that's the thing we want to do with AI after that. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Mr. Israr, you shared a great deal of insight on operational efficiency, which is important. And you also mentioned how the engineers can benefit. In fact, that's an important use case, even the employees. In terms of dynamic allocation, in terms of data, you also confirmed the reference to edge. If there is any insight you'd like to share, where do you think this will go forward? Because even in OpEx, when we have an opportunity for allocation, it can even impact CapEx when you do spectrum allocation and radio allocation. So any insight on the role of data, on the role of edge, or where you think this operational efficiency in power consumption, in other things will go?
I think it's a very good question. So I'll try to answer it in two different aspects. So one is, again, from the operational efficiency side. So for operational efficiency, since the data reside, all data with us, so definitely that's where we are seeing these trends and patterns to help even further in predicting those requirements, and even go to a further step that I don't see that far. In an year or so, we would be in a position to basically, predict those things, order those things, and accordingly, we'll be able to generate a more effective, I would say, cost-effective solution to the customer, which will eventually benefit them at the end. But when it comes to the edge AI computing onto the device, and I mean, look, I don't want it to sugarcoat things here. I mean, there is still a lot of interoperability problem. iOS devices still holding a lot of data themselves, Android doing something differently. And all of those data is a very valuable data that could eventually help us in predicting the resource allocation at the same time and also doing the efficiencies. But to not see much happening on that particular side. So we just get some of the MR data which is coming in, but it's one directional. And in order to process those data, you need to do a lot of storage, and you need to process a lot of data. And usually in the networks, we are not doing it continuously because it will overload the network, it will overload the signaling, and a lot of other things as well. So I think on that particular part, since in the morning also I attended a keynote and people were talking about bringing the AI chips now more frequently, and I think my colleague from Qualcomm was also talking about it. So I think what really needs to happen is that once we are talking about flexibility onto the networks, I think there's some sort of data federation needs to happen on that particular layer as well. That what kind of information needs to be processed and what kind of information can be fed back to the system. At this point of time now, even in releases, I'm not seeing very active usage of those information. So having devices enabled for AI for personalization, maybe yes. But if you want to bring and answer those questions from an efficiency standpoint, probably we need to look at that angle of the things as well, which probably at this point of time, nobody's looking at it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you bring up realities and challenges we have to work with. And it, as you said, some yes, some otherwise, because it also depends on the application, right? A lot of MNOs have indicated network performance will be their, main concern, because what is the accountability of an AI decision and so on. So on those notes, perhaps Magnus, if you don't mind, we also, speaking of Qualcomm and others, there was also reference to how mobile AI also becomes a user interface. So AI becomes as good as the data, and the data is not just search or customer interaction. It could be use cases like sensing, XR, and other things. So how do you see the future going, either in terms of mobile AI agents, agentic AI, or use cases? How do you see the next few years in terms of the technology trends and roadmap?
Yes, I think there are, of course, a lot of possibilities, and again, I think we will have challenges when it comes to getting the full ecosystem on board. A little bit what we are seeing now in the 5G rollouts, which have gone excellent, right? But it has been mostly then extending the mobile broadband. That was sort of easy, the ecosystem was in place. Addressing more enterprise use cases, it's been slower because you need to build the ecosystem and get all the different pieces of that ecosystem together. I think we are getting there, and some regions are ahead of others, etc. So I think we are now getting to a phase where we do have the ecosystem, and it's time to accelerate and really make this happen globally, right? So that's
wonderful.
I think we will see a similar thing now. We're talking about all of these new opportunities, and the way to work is, of course, to try the new technologies, do testing, do trials, etc., in order to accelerate. So I think that will be the major challenge. And then we are all talking about, of course, addressing a large part of outside sort of the consumers, which may be very sort of mission critical and really sort of important systems, right? And then I think there is a lot of work to be done in order to build the trust in this. Will a car be able to use third-party data in order to take an important decision? I guess then you have to be sure that that data is valid and not tampered with, etc. So I think there is a lot of things that we need to work with across the ecosystem, because each and every player will not be able to guarantee the end-to-end trustworthiness. It has to be really a combination of all the different players. So all of these challenges in these systems, but that's of course also the exciting part, that we can start to address these things. But it's also there we have the challenges, I think.
Very good. So as we are coming to the end in this fantastic discussion, I do give floor to Nokia and LGU Plus, if you can briefly also comment on challenges which turns into requirements and call for action. If you can briefly indicate, and anything else you wanted to mention on this topic briefly, and end with any message.
Yeah, I can build on what Magnus said. There's a lot of challenges, of course, but you need to start with the basic. You need to make sure that all your data is digitalized. Absolutely the data you can get out from the network, but more. All your business data, all your employee data, everything has to be digitalized. And believe me or not, but it's not really there in all places. Secondly, you need to already now start about thinking about APIs from two perspectives. Where can I gain time, money, efficiency by having an API so I can automate? Second question, where can I, in my infrastructure, build APIs to monetize on? If the same area, you tick both boxes, go, because then you will save money and make money at the same time. So you can do this gradually, stepwise approach. Next thing is then to start to apply digital twins and also AI on all levels in network and the business. So of all the investments decision you take, you need to understand where you're going. You all know what kind of effort it is to think ahead, plan your network ahead, make the investment cycles come through. So that's why you need a North Star. And then you need to work with digitalization. That's my advice.
Great. Thank you. The last word for you, Mr. Yong.
Yeah, I have introduced some of real use case, how can AI can attach or adapt to telco service. So from the beginning, I think that we should focus on what we can do better than other industry or other competitors. So particularly, we want to add or we want to expand our service to what we can do better, like SMS or email or other communication methods that the telco can handle. So if we can expand our service, we can add much more customer value. For example, we horizontally, we are open to every external service that create more customer value, like Google extension in Korean neighbor reservation or some other Uber Eats, something like that. So if we can add this kind of service to our telco side own communication pipeline, I think we can make much better service than before. So this is just beginning. So finally, we want to make personal AI agent which can understand myself better than myself. So if we want to do that project, we need to understand our customer and AI technology and other side help from other big tech company. So I think this is a good start. So from now, we can do that. If we can do together, I think we can do that. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for ending on that positive note. I think, as you noted, there are real implementations and there are real activities and also understanding the challenges in our collective journey and call for action. I think at GTI we also have programs that are all covering this, including a focus on 5G-AxAI, and we invite everyone to join. So with that, let's thank our distinguished panelists.